Hi everyone, welcome to this Profit Protector Pro video dedicated to the strategies. Now this is a really exciting video because the algorithmic strategies are what makes Profit Protector Pro unique compared to other repricers. So I thought it'd be a good idea to just walk you through the strategies available to you so you can make the best decisions for your ASINs. So if we go to the top here, you want to click on the Strategies tab, which will bring up this page that we're on. So I'll just briefly explain what's on the page and then we'll go look at it in a bit more detail. So first of all, we've got a default strategy. So that is a strategy that's kind of like your favorite one, if you like. So there's an option to, in your inventory page, to select your default strategy, which will apply across all of your ASINs. So that's something that you might want to use at some point. We'll come back to that in just a moment and go through that process. Then we've got the section of algorithmic strategies for FBA sellers, which start with super aggressive and we go down to aggressive and then balanced, etc. and cautious. If we just quickly go down here, once we have matched the buy box, these are now not algorithmic strategies. So these are what we call rule-based strategies. So this is typically what you'll find in more basic simplistic repricers. They will have these options, which are simply a rule that the repricer will look to work towards, and that's it. So it will literally be a match the buy box price. There won't be anything else, no intelligence related to the repricer if you select that. And the same for the sort of penny under and penny over buy box, which often results in like something we call a race to the bottom, which is not really what you want to get into, because then everyone's scrambling for the buy box and nobody's actually getting profitable sales. But they're there just because why not include them? But that's not really the selling point for Profit Protector Pro. The algorithmic repricing strategies are absolutely the unique selling point. And we carry on down here. We've got some used books strategies which can be useful there. And we've got then for merchant fulfilled sellers some additional algorithmic strategies here which you can look at like that. So there's basically three sections: algorithmic strategies for FBA sellers, and then strategies for FBM sellers, and then you've got your basic rule-based strategies, which probably you're not going to want to touch, but they're there just in case you're curious or you just want to try it out for some reason. Okay, so going into a bit more detail then, this default strategy, as you can see here, it says you can choose your favorite from within My Account settings. So we'll just go through that process just now to show you what that looks like. So if we scroll down the page here, this is what it means. So you can select here whichever favorite repricing strategy you want. So let's choose cautious. So once we've chosen that and we click Save Changes, that's really important, update successful. So go back to the top, click on Inventory, and this is our inventory. It's actually a test account, but for the purpose of this video, it works just fine. You see this button here, All Strategies to Default. So if we were to click that now, all of your ASINs listed would be defaulted to the cautious sales strategy that you wanted. So that can be really useful if you know you think that you really love a particular strategy and you want it across all your ASINs. You can click here and go to all the different individual strategies there, but that's going to take a long time if you've got quite a big inventory. So that's just a really useful button that you can use there for your strategies. So let's just go back to this page then. Obviously you've got all this text here which you can read and it's super useful, so definitely read that before going and choosing your particular strategy. But what's really helpful is this sort of little icon down here. This is a very quick representation of your sales versus your profit and what Profit Protector Pro is aiming for within this strategy. So for example, this is a super aggressive dominator, and this is saying that Profit Protector Pro doesn't really care about your profit. It does to an extent, but it's very low on the priority. Its main mission is to get you those sales, which is why all those blue dots there are filled in. As it says here, this strategy is ideal if you wish to dump stock very quickly. So perhaps you're coming up to some long-term storage fees which you don't want to pay. Remember, that means if your inventory has been stored in an Amazon fulfillment center for over 365 days, then you'll pay larger long-term storage fees, which you probably don't really want. Or perhaps say you're coming up to a time where FBA no longer accepts meltable inventory, then you want to get rid of the stock quickly before you hit that window. Now, with this aggressive dominator, it's really important that you set your minimum to an amount that you're happy to sell at, because Profit Protector Pro will be using your minimum here. So make sure that you're happy with the minimum you have set, and that's really important because it's not focused much on profit at all. It just wants to get you those sales and dump stock quickly. If you come further down, we've got now an aggressive sales generator. So this is slightly more profit based, but still very heavy on the sales. So again, this is one where if you're going to want to dump stock, then you might want to choose this with perhaps a little bit more caution on the profit there. Now, the balanced accumulator, this is, again, you can see now we're becoming more balanced within the sales versus the profit. So this is still quite aggressive and will pursue the buy box in favour of sales over the profit. And this is actually quite a popular strategy because it's got more of this balance going on, which a lot of sellers prefer. And with cautious, you've got exactly half the sales and half profit in terms of what Profit Protector Pro is looking for. So again, this is also another popular strategy. So you might choose cautious if you're a bit more set on the profit than you were with the balanced sales accumulator. And as we go further down, you can see the balance is now tipping. Profit Protector Pro is now looking to gain you more profit over the sales. This means that Profit Protector Pro will always be looking to drive up your price and the profit for your product. So it's an ideal one for sellers looking to balance their sales and their profit together. And then we go down to Hybrid Profit Harvester. Now you can see this is almost the reverse of the aggressive. We've got very high focus here on profit and less there on the sales. So this is a great strategy for ASINs that perhaps are slower sales, but you really want to maximize the profits that you're going to get from that sales. That's where you probably would use the Hybrid Profit Harvester. And then we go down, you can see Passive Profit Maximizer. Well, this is the one where it's absolutely focused on the profit. And this strategy will probably slow down your sales. So if you're all about quick sales, this is definitely not the one for you. But absolutely, if you definitely want that highest profit, but you're willing to wait a bit longer for the sales, then this could be the one for you. And then we go down into the other ones, which we're not going to go into too much because they're pretty basic, and you can just read those anyway. And you're probably familiar with a lot of these penny under, penny over terms that you often see from these basic repricers. So it's really important that when you're choosing your strategies, you're thinking about what do you want to achieve from that particular ASIN. And Profit Protector Pro will work within your minimum and maximum margins to get you into the buy box and then push up the sales. So just as we spoke about, the minimum is really important to set correctly. You know, don't just set it 1 penny under the current buy box, because that won't give Profit Protector Pro much to work with, especially if you're looking to dump stock quickly. You're going to want to be, you know, sort of lower than the buy box, but still at a price that you're comfortable to sell the product at. And then your maximum, that's also really important to set correctly. And how do you set a maximum? For example, if a product is sitting around, I don't know, £15, what would your maximum be? You might ask, would that be £20? Would it be 25? Would it be 30? So it's an interesting question, this, and one that you have to be careful of, because there's something called price gouging, which you may have heard of, and especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, is what a lot of sellers sort of fell into trouble with, because they increased the price of products to a price that Amazon deemed unreasonable and unfair, and it can also lead to problems with your account, or in, you know, worst case, account suspensions. So you've got to be really careful that your maximum price is not just ridiculous. Now, often a good way to set your maximum is to look at the maximum price the product has sold on Amazon for. So if you're using BuyBot Pro, which is a sister software company to Profit Protector Pro, then this is made quite easy for you. Let's just look at an example. So we're taking this replacement toothbrush heads. BuyBot Pro has loaded, as it always does on every Amazon product page. It's got loads and loads of key features, so if you're interested, go and check out some videos on BuyBot Pro. But for the purpose of this video, I just want to show you these charts here. So what we can see is the say that we've got Amazon price average here. So Amazon are on this listing. We've got the new price, so these are other new sellers, not Amazon, and then we've got some just the buy box price average. So you can see that Amazon are quite low here at $26.99, similar to new prices as well from new sellers. But the buy box price average in terms of all time is £40.50. So this is something that you might set your maximum at, for example, because it's reasonable. Amazon aren't going to, well, they shouldn't hunt you down for that because it's within the price range that it has sold on Amazon previously. So you should be okay setting it at that. It is quite reasonable as well. If you look at, you've got the Amazon FBA price average, so £32. So it's not too far above, but yeah, you might want to set it around this, perhaps a little bit lower, just depending on what you think. But it can be really helpful just to set that maximum setting for you using the BuyBot Pro data like that. And I think that's pretty much it in terms of strategies. I mean, you could talk for hours and hours on these, but the main thing to just remember is look exactly at what each strategy consists of, and use this the little diagram here to help you understand whether it's more sales or profit focused. And you know, depending on your ASINs and how quickly you want a product to sell, will depend on the strategy that you choose. So for dumping stock, yeah, use an aggressive dominator, that will be really good. But for something a bit more balanced, hence the name, you can use the balanced sales accumulator and also the cautious. These are probably the two most used by sellers because it's definitely a more balance between sales versus profit. So really it just comes down to what you deem is best for your ASINs. But the great thing about Profit Protector Pro is you're not set into one strategy forever. So you can try a strategy out for a particular ASIN, see how well it's doing, and then you can always alter the strategy and just see what works best for you, and the types of product you're selling will determine which strategies work better for you.